It looked like it was mud. I don't know what it was. It was a flying saucer or what it was. It wasn't an airplane. It was not an airplane. It was down awfully low.
You're listening to Pursuit of the Paranormal podcast with your hosts, Ash Ellis and Greg Tomlinson.
Hello, and thanks for joining me this week. It's just myself because unfortunately Ash is not very well after the weekend. I don't think he could handle Cannock Chase on Friday, especially when we entered a dog in sight. So anybody who joined us on the TikTok lives, we ended up at a weird dog in sight. Loads of weird shit was happening, and we ended the live stream with lights flashing at us and whatnot in a car park. So it's just me. Ash is not very well, so we are taking the reins. And joining me tonight is Jack Bell from Paranormal Inc. It's somebody that we've been friends with for a little while now, since they formed a group. And yeah, we're going to have a chat, find out how you're getting on, what you guys are doing, and how you got into the paranormal. So welcome along, Jack. How are you?
Cheers, Greg. Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, couldn't be better. It's been a long weekend. I'm so tired. I was up at 4:15 yesterday morning taking my daughter to a show jumping competition, and I didn't sleep very well because I was watching the girls from To Investigate on the live stream from one of your events, which was the Regent Theatre in Blackpool.
Yeah.
How was that? Let's start there. How was Saturday?
Do you know what? So we've done it once before, and I'll get into what we do as a group in a little while. But the reason why we did it before was to do a trial event, just to see whether we can bring it to the public and whether it was a good enough place to do. And there was only 5 of us in the premises when we did the trial event, and we were all ill afterwards.
Oh wow!
And come back 24 hours ago, I'm getting messages left, right, and centre from customers and from staff going, "I'm poorly again." I don't know whether it's just a coincidence or whether it is literally the building that is. There's just something there, and it just, I don't know, it's just weird vibes, just really, really weird vibes. I mean, we had a fantastic night. We had a really, really good night, and so did the customers. The customers had a really good night, but yeah, there were a lot of talking points, a lot of weird things that happened. But I think the main thing is everyone left. Everyone going, "Oh my god, I feel so drained. I'm so poorly. I don't feel well." Strange, really, 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 really strange.
It is really strange, and I know we were talking off air about all the kind of stuff that they've got at the theatre, around like bric-a-brac and old items. I was watching one of the streams, Matt's stream at one point, and there was loads of like trinkets. There was like snuff boxes and all that kind of stuff. So I think if you believe in haunted items, and I know a lot of people do, I imagine it's quite possible that some of those things, especially if they've collected over the years from people who have passed away and donated stuff, you don't know what these people have been into. And what kind of vibe did you get at the place?
So it's so strange, and I think when we went in, so we'd actually been around Blackpool for 3 hours. I got sucked into the arcades and places like that. I spent a fortune and had nothing to show for it. We actually went for some fish and chips. Whilst in Blackpool, you've got to do that. It was weird because actually we went to the venue. We were actually really looking forward to it with a group of people. It was like, we were buzzing to get going. We had a really quick turnaround to get set up. Usually I'd leave myself and the team about an hour and a half to get into the venue, get some stuff on socials, get set up, do a little bit ourselves just to get used to the venue, get used to the vibe. So we had none of that. It was literally straight in with customers straight away. So it was all a little bit hectic, is probably the best way to put it. Anyway, we did the introduction, and I was stood at the bottom of the circle talking out to the customers and the guests that were there, and the rest of the staff, and it felt fine. It felt absolutely fine. Generally, we sat there and everyone's having a bit of a laugh. It was warm because it was still warm, but it was fine. And then you start to do the walk around, and then you just notice, like, oh, this feels a little bit different. And it's really, really funny because I always ask the guests, so when we do the walk around, I try not to lead the walk around. I mean, I'll show guests where to go, but I'm very much, if you want to stay in this area for 5-10 minutes, stay in this area, get a feel for the place, see what you think. Because it's their investigation at the end of the day. We've done it. We're almost like a little Klingon to their investigation for the night. And I'd like them to go, do you know what, I don't feel right here. It'd be really, really good if we could come back. I'd like to do this here. I'd like to do that there. And then it gives us almost like a bit of an agenda for the night too, which is good. And we had a group of returning customers that have been before, and they were just straight on it. Like, there was a guy walking around with an SB11. He was saying, I'm getting all sorts through, which is really weird because throughout the night, when we were doing spirit box sessions, we got nothing.
Wow.
Which was really weird. And he was walking, and but the words that he was talking about was words that were coming through on different devices and stuff. It's so strange, just really, really weird things. But I think the theatre itself, so it was a cinema back in the day. So it was built in 1906, and it was the UK's first open air cinema.
Oh wow!
And we all know, like, Blackpool, especially back in the day, they like to do things different, don't they? They like to be the first. And the open air theatre is literally, they've just got a retractable roof that opens up. Oh, it's cool. Back in the day, you can imagine, can't you, sat there watching, a black and white film, it'd be cool. Anyway, it was a cinema, and then something happened, and then it got turned into a bingo hall around about the 70s. And you can see the bad age. All I can think is like Peter Kay. Bingo hall back in the 70s.
Phoenix Night.
Yeah, absolutely. And from that, it actually turned into a Riley snooker hall.
Okay.
And there's pictures online, and I'll share them with you. And if you can share them on your social media as well when you put this out. It was derelict, and I mean derelict. Like, it was in a bad way. And the guys who own it now, they've completely renovated it. They've taken it back to how it used to be. The seating upstairs is laid out the same way that it used to be. The wallpaper is really expensive wallpaper that used to be there. They've just cleaned it and painted over it. So it's almost taken it back to yesteryear as such, which is great because you can get that. As soon as you walk in, you get that vibe straight away. But what's even better is, and we alluded to it earlier, the downstairs area, just there's that much stuff there. And it's obviously personal items to people that have either been donated, charity donations, or like loved ones have died and they've got nowhere to put it. There's people that have got different stalls there. There's a massive stall dedicated to Elvis.
Oh, wow.
And you're just saying like random things, but that's literally underneath the stalls. And you go through another room, and so when you go through another room, it actually takes you into a separate building. The separate building itself, again, they've renovated it and added it on, and it's a 3-story building. And the building that I'm talking about, it's full of furniture. So wooden cabinets, sofas, lamps. There's some really old military uniform in there too, all on hangers. There's just a lot of really just weird costumes, dressing up costumes. It's strange, but some really old furniture in there. There's a big grand piano in there too. You go upstairs, you go into the most dangerous room in the world. It is full of china, to the point, and it's oh my god! I said what in my intros, I was like, by the way, I have insurance, but don't take the mic. I was like, because it is dangerous up there. One little accidental step and it can go flying. Anyway, as you carry on through, you go up. So there's a tea rooms in that area as well. So there's a little cafe. When you go upstairs, you're in the attic, and it's just a jumble sale up in the attic. There's a lot of clothes up there. There's a lot of dolls. Again, people who do this kind of, believe in pot dolls, haunted dolls. There's items up there that I probably can't say on here.
Anything you want on here.
So there's gollywogs and all sorts upstairs. So when you're talking items of yesteryear, that is like, I mean, that'll never happen nowadays, will it? It's just one of those where you're going, this is old. It's really, really old. And you're just walking through, you're just going, it's just really, really just like, it just doesn't, it feels vibrant. It just feels like there's a lot of pressure. And I've not really opened up to attachments on, like items and things like that. But when you just take a step back and you actually think there's probably a lot of precious items of people who've passed away or don't have them anymore or whatever the story is, and all of a sudden you're going, it kind of makes sense. It just gives off bad energy, which is great for us when we're investigating it. But yeah, it's a weird place. But the guys who own it now, they've done an amazing job just to restore it. It's really cool.
Have they said that there's been any sort of activity that they've noticed?
So the guy's called Richard, who he's not the owner. He basically does like event nights. So they bring him in. He's the poor lad who has to stay downstairs on his own for 5 hours whilst we walk off. And when I were asking, so they've caught some amazing stuff on CCTV. Like, and I mean, like a complete like trestle table collapsing and everything going flying, cups falling off. Like it's obviously riddled with CCTV through Blackpool, but which is really good because if you get anything happen, generally it should be on camera as well, which is cool.
Yeah, that's really good.
And they're really, really good on like social media. So like something happened, and again we can talk about it in a minute, but something happened and I was straight away asking them what's in this area, and they come back straight away with answers of what's there. And whether it's a debunk or for me, it was just affirmation of something was happening that wasn't right. But yeah, they're really, really good at the guys. They're really responsive with stuff, and they put on their own nights as well, so they believe in this kind of stuff. I generally think it's energy. Personally, I do think like the building. If you think in the grand scheme of things, it's old, but it's not that old. It's 120 years old.
We speak to some guests, and that is really old for them. We're talking Americans. Come on, and they're going, "Oh, we've got this place. It's about 100 years old." I'm like, "Oh my god, that's like somebody's house could be that old over here."
It's just
things. It's not that old.
No, it's just a really, really weird place, and they've done an amazing job restoring it. And the fact that we can go and research it and enjoy it and find things out from the past, it's great. It's fantastic.
Awesome. So what other locations have you done as a team?
So we're based up in North. So I'm based in Burnley. The rest of the staff, Preston, Barrow. There's one in Pickering, which is near Middlesbrough, Whitby.
I'm down south, so anything north of Birmingham is north.
True. We're a northern-based team, so generally the events that we try and do is northwest.
Mm-hmm.
We've got one in the northeast. My whole play for doing Paranormal Inc. was the northwest is absolutely, I'll say riddled. I don't know if that's the right word, but riddled with venues, historic venues. And I don't think there's many companies, or if there is any companies, that celebrate the historic relevance of these companies. And I wanted to do that. I love history myself. I'm completely into history. I think it's the most important thing anybody could learn about at school, personally, because you need to know where you've come from. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I just think it goes hand in hand. Myself, the venues that we've done. Sorry, I went and digressed. But the venues that we've done so far. So we started at Bolton County Jail, and
I remember that. Yeah, very good.
Which was cool. It's a cool place. I mean, there's not just what it is. It is a jail and a county court together. That's now a college, but they've kept it in complete as it was. And again, the history that was, that goes around that building, it's fantastic. It's so good. We've got it again later this year, and I think we're going to look at booking it and doing it on our own as well. So go and do like a bit of a TikTok live there, because it's one of those where, I mean, it was our first event. I was absolutely like through the roof, just like trying to sort everything out and worried that I was doing everything wrong. But I want to go and investigate it, because, I mean, we mentioned about Matt. Matt went home, absolutely, he had his face all burnt. There was a lot of things that had gone on that night, and I don't think I was able to take it. I don't think the team were able to take it in either. So it'd be really good to go back and do that. The event after that was Carlisle Masonic Hall. I love Masonic Halls. And again, I don't know why they are really, really vibey, but they are so strange.
Yeah, they are. I think with Masonic stuff, I think because there's that air of mystery around what is Masonry and what is a Mason, that kind of thing. I think so. Ash had done his first UFO mini conference. The first one was at a Masonic lodge on Manchester Road, and that was the first time I'd ever been in there. And there was a group of Masons having this weird tea thing going on. They were walking through. Obviously, there's this big UFO conference going on.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's just got this weird vibe in a Masonic lodge for definite.
The weird thing about that building is, so yeah, it has been, majority of its lifespan, it's been a Masonic hall. But before that, it was a school. And before that, it was the house of, I'm trying to think of the name. I won't say Harlan and Wolff. I don't think you know it is. It's Harlan and Wolff. You know the crane manufacturers, the massive crane that do like the shipping yards.
Yeah.
So they're based in Belfast now, and it was actually Harlan and Wolff were the ones who built the Titanic.
Okay, got it.
The family lived there.
Oh wow.
Which again, like when you think of like just, I mean, it's got generally the Titanic's got no link to that, but actually when you think of the history and you go back, you're going, that's cool. That's well cool. Very cool. It was originally their family home, and by the way, like it's massive. It is humongous. Is the house, and then it was a school. It's also been a hospital during World War, so people who've been injured have gone there. And then not very recently, I think it was 60s, it got turned into a Masonic lodge. And they've built on top of it, they've extended it. I mean, Carlisle as a place is really historic anyway. But I have never, I think, so that venue is the first time I've seen a figure myself.
Okay. Wow.
And that was on our trial night, so going back, we do trial nights again. We were just sat, so they've got like a bar area, and it's very much, we mentioned PK, working man's club, very looks like a working man's club. We were sat there, and there were five of us, and we were just talking, and I genuinely think we were probably just having a bit of banter with one another. Anyway, I turned around, and I looked towards the bar area, and there's just this black shadow. I looked back, I looked at Liam, who was sat across from me, and I went, and I looked back, and I was like, that can't be a shadow. Like, it wasn't, so Liam wasn't in the area. And consistently through that night where that shadow was spotted, so they had like wooden plastic shutters down on the bar. It was just rattling, all the shutters.
Oh, wow.
And we're asking for knocking to happen. It was asking all the time. Anyway, the time that we did the event, we were in the room, and it was the last room that we went into. Everyone was knackered. I was just taking pictures. And I've got like a smoke on the on the shutters.
Oh, amazing! I'd love to see that picture.
Yeah, I'll send it across to you. I mean, it's on our it's on our TikTok. I uploaded the picture, so I've took 4 pictures altogether, as you do, and you can see it. I've circled it, but you can see it's there's a figure there.
Yeah.
So from my point of view, I mean, I saw it. I was like, oh my
god. Oh, let me check it out while we're talking.
Yeah.
So what? So one thing I was going to ask was, with the fact that you're having members of the public essentially coming onto these.
Yeah.
I've been on events where members of the public have been on, and there's a massive sort of swing of people who believe, people who don't necessarily believe, people who've been into it all their lives,
Yeah.
or not regularly go on paranormal investigations. Some people have never been on it before.
Yeah.
What kind of mixture of people do you get? Is it the same?
It's a full spectrum of people that we get. I think we've been actually quite lucky is probably the wrong term to say, but we've had a lot of groups join us. So a lot of, very similar to what we do, when you do your lives and stuff like that, we've had a lot of groups join us, but we have had customers who are brand new to it, absolutely brand new to it. And I think what makes us good to start off with and good to try it is we're just nice people. Generally, there's no agenda behind it.
Yeah.
We're not trying to scare anybody. We're not jumping at it. Like, we want a laugh. Like, and again, you'll notice I keep mentioning energy. I truly believe if you're in an environment where A, you feel comfortable, B, you can have a laugh, and you just okay being there, I think it makes you relax and you can then enjoy yourself, and it makes you open up as well, because at the end of the day, we want these customers to give as much energy as possible to being in the venue. It's cost them a lot of money to come. It's well-earned money that they've earned themselves, that they come to these venues, and they're so good to spend the money with us. We want them to have genuine experiences, and the only way that we can give them genuine experiences is by just being real, just generally being real with them. That's it. And I always start the night. This isn't TV. You're not going to get a rope thrown at your head or anything like that. If you do, I've not done it. Yeah. Generally, yeah. Please do if it happens. But generally, like that, if you can take anything out of one night, it's a bang. It's a footstep. It's something which has just made you go, that's really weird. It's not being thrown around a room. It's not being like, have something lobbed at you. If anything like that does happen, like that is like once in a lot of investigations.
Yeah.
So having customers who either don't, I mean, I always challenge people. Like, I love it. You mentioned earlier when we were talking offline about like TikTok comments and Facebook comments and stuff. Like, I share obviously all our events into different like local pages, and the amount of comments that we get, and I'm like, come along, prove me wrong, come on. If you think it's that much rubbish, show me. Come on.
Yeah.
And like on Saturday night, we had footsteps above us, and there was somebody above us. And I don't care who you are, I don't care what you believe in or what you don't believe in. You can't sit there and go, "That's weird," because it weren't me. I was there, and there were nobody upstairs.
Yeah.
And I just love it when we're able to go. That's why it's called paranormal, and it's not because it's so. It doesn't mean it's just we don't get it. And we're all trying to find, like you said, the pursuit of paranormal is probably the best way to put it. You are trying to find something different.
Yeah, we've spoken to many people, and like you can even get people on the same event that have a different experience.
Absolutely.
So we went, for example, me and Ash, Matt actually came along that night. So me, Ash, and Matt were off at Keighley Underground. One particular area. The girls were in another pub. Then we swapped over, and we were in the same bit they were, and we had a completely different experience to them.
Yeah.
And I do think that the paranormal as well is a very personal thing. So people get out of it what they put in. Like you said, it's an opportunity. If you can relax, get into it, you're not.
Yeah.
You open yourself up, and I do believe that it creates an energy. And I know that the girls get amazing stuff because they're just crazy, them lot. But but they do get things happen that other people don't. So I do believe that the energy you give into the night can also help out. So if you guys are able to sort of get people to a comfortable place, because there are people. And you mentioned it very briefly that they're expecting most haunted stuff to happen, like knives being thrown around,
but yeah, you're right.
Chairs, and I mean, we went to 2 years ago. Me and my ex, we went to 30 Years Drive.
Yeah,
this was 5-6 years ago, before lockdown, and there was a couple there, and it was their first time on a paranormal investigation. We were with, I think it was Haunted Happenings. I think it was one of their nights.
Yeah.
And they were really good. But this couple were like, so what is expecting to happen? We were sort of discussing it all as a group. We're in the main living room, and they said that they'd watched Most Haunted a lot. And a lot of people get into the paranormal via Most Haunted. I get that, and it's a great program for getting people. It's probably the pinnacle program that got the majority of this generation of people into the paranormal.
I agree.
Before Ghost Adventures, because Ghost Adventures came after that. Everything on TV now came from Most Haunted, so I can't knock it. And I think the later series did sort of play up on the stuff, but that's a whole other. But, they were talking about Most Haunted, and they said they'd seen Most Haunted live, the Halloween episode, and people were like, "You do know that a lot of that was bullshit," and they're like, "What?" You go, Most Haunted is, maybe it wasn't right at the start, but is sort of egged up for the camera. I said it's bullshit, and they were like, "What?" I couldn't believe it. So you do get a mixture of people. So the first time they come on a paranormal night, they probably are expecting The Exorcist and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like you said, if you can get some footsteps and get a bang that seems to be an intelligent response to stuff you're asking, that's what it's about. And it's a journey that people then go on. We do the TikTok lives, as you know, and we get new people joining us, and then we see them again and again and again. There's a guy from North Wales. I'm still learning all these places in the northwest in the UK. So he said, "You were the team that got me into watching Paranormal Lives, because I watched yours and thought this is quite cool." And then he now watches all the others, and then people go, "Oh, it's so addictive," and it's addictive. So do you find the paranormal the paranormal investigation addictive? Because the paranormal is just, I love it. But...
So there's two sides to me, and I've only just realised this. And I have got my investigation. I am in charge of Paranormal Inc, and I'm putting on an event for people. There's that side of me, and I like it. I enjoy it, and I like the fact that I can experience things with brand new people, get to meet people, and just generally get to know people, which is great. Then there's the other side. So for the next 2 weeks, we are doing TikTok lives at venues ourselves. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to be able to just relax. Because I am, like I said, generally, I'm making sure everyone's okay. Someone falls over, I have to be there with first aid kit. I am in business mode when I go and do the events. I still enjoy it, still love it. But this Friday and next Saturday, we're doing 2 lives, and I can't wait just to be with the guys and relax. And
where are you going?
So we've got so we're at the House That Cries this Friday.
Yep.
Never been before.
I've never been either. I know I've seen people there. I've seen the girls there, obviously.
Yeah, I've heard really good stuff with it. I haven't done any research into. I'm going to go completely blind. I just want. So there's me, Paul. Laura, Paul's missus, it's called Screech. So people who watch this who know it's called Screech, but he's actually he's Paul's nephew. That it's called Screech is because he's 16-year-old and he screamed once like really high. That's his nickname. And he's actually got a TikTok account called Screech as well, which is amazing. And then I think there's a few others as well. I think Paranormal Truth are coming. Ian and Matt going. So there's some really good people. I've been speaking. There's people going who I've been speaking through social media. I like the posts. I get to know them. Never met them before. So again, I'm excited to go and just relax, really, and just have a good time investigating. And then the week after, where you guys have been, Priest's Cottage.
Awesome. Yeah.
So excited.
That's a really cool place.
Yeah, really, really excited. So I'm excited just to take off the paranormal events cap and where that I'm actually going to do investigation. Because generally, we mentioned Most Haunted. I completely and utterly fell into this just out of coincidence, pure coincidence. My friend worked for Spirit Seekers at the time, based in the northeast, and I worked with her, and she was like, going to an RF museum this week and ghost hunting. I'm working it. Do you want to come? I was like, yes. and it was literally because I like planes. I like history, and I was like, it'd be cool going around like a RF museum in the dark. And I've heard really good stories about it. The venue itself was almost haunted, and it's been done by it's one of the most famous venues in the northeast. And to be honest, I've done it 7 times, I think now, because I used to work for Spirit Seekers as well.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic venue. It's really, really good. Keith, who's the caretaker there, he's caught some amazing stuff on camera.
Awesome.
And it's just one of those venues where if you've got the chance to go up to the northeast and do it. It's worth doing. And it was just out of me doing that all of a sudden I just started tagging along to different venues. And I almost fell into, just like you said, it's like gambling. That's what it is. You go and you're trying to find something which you've never experienced before. My first proper paranormal, it's not, my first proper paranormal experience on an event was at Bramall Village Hall, which we've done as a company ourselves. It's just a tiny little village hall in Leeds, and we had a ping pong ball thrown at us out of nowhere, just out of nowhere, and we ran into the hallway where it come from. There was no one there. And it was the trajectory of the ball come bouncing into the room, so it hadn't like fallen off a rafter or anything. It was, again, you sat there and you're going, why has that happened? Like, there's no reason for it. If anybody had walked around, because the venue's really small, you would have heard them. You would have heard a door open.
Yeah,
you would have heard somebody moving around. It weren't anybody. That was paranormal.
Yeah. Wow.
It was just weird.
There is a famous saying that if you can eliminate anything that it possibly could be, anything that you're left with, regardless of how absurd it is the truth. So if you can eliminate if you can rule out people, you can rule out an external factor that isn't paranormal. What you're left with is, regardless of what your belief is, it has to be that.
Yeah.
It can't be anything else. So that's mad.
It's just one of those venues where I just wish there was CCTV there. Because and it is. And any time I tell this story, everyone's like, well, why don't you catch it on camera? Like that. And you're going, well, if I was filming it and I was looking in there, then it would have been, well, that was planned. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been, but it would have been really good just to see how it would have come into it, because then you would have been sat there going, look, that is what's happened. That is probably, other than actually seeing a figure and catching it on camera, that's probably the best ever evidence that you could possibly get.
Yeah. Wow.
It was amazing.
So you said that was your first experience on an event.
Yeah.
If we go back then, because you mentioned Most Haunted, what got you into, was it Most Haunted that got you into paranormal, or if you had experiences before that?
Kinda, yeah. So I mean, personally, I can't remember this, but my mum always tells me a story, and again, I don't know whether I'm going to get the police on my mum because she's going to get done for bad parenting. But when I was a kid, it was she would change my nappy, so that's how young I were.
So just to put a reference, what sort of decade are we talking?
So I'm 31, so it would have been 1990.
How old are you?
6. 2 3-year-old.
How old are you now? Did you say?
Oh, sorry, 31.
31. My God. Okay. Yeah, anything in the 90s, you can. It's not admissible in court. Don't worry about it, because I grew up and I was hitting my teenagers in the 90s, and even before that, you could just do whatever you want, and there's no record of it, so it doesn't matter.
So my mum's story is she was changing my nappy on the table, the dining room table, and the doorbell went. Nobody was at the doorbell. When she comes back to me, I am on the floor the other way around.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't rolled off.
No.
I've gone that way.
Flipped over.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I can't remember that. I mean, whether that's an injury to my head and that's just happened through time. But yeah, so she told me that story, and I think my mum's always believed in this. And we mentioned it on our live. She's watched X-Files. Like, I remember walking into the room as a child and seeing an alien on the TV because she's watching X-Files. So like the paranormal thing has always been my mum's thing. When More Stones had come to, it was on Living TV. Everything was on, More Stones Live. We watched that religiously together all the time. And it was one of those where, like you said, it's entertainment. It's an entertainment show. But it was just, I think it was more the history side. Like when Yvette Fielding did like the walkarounds and you learn a little bit about like the history. That was interesting for me. I've lived in the oldest house in Burnley. Today, it's a it's a cottage on the on a farm in Burnley. And again, who am I talking to? It was a customer I was talking to about this the other day, and it's about when you're actually in somewhere, and I guess Ash could probably relate to this. When you live somewhere and you're just blind to it, you're just blind to anything that's happening. You try and just ignore everything. But I was in a bedroom. Outside the bedroom, I had footsteps all the time, walking up and down. And it weren't my dad. I'd shout, I'd always at Dad, are you there? No, weren't my dad. Anyway, the bedroom that I was in, the wardrobe door opened every single night on its own. Every single night. And the worst thing about it when I woke up, I was facing the wardrobe door opened and it was mirrored.
Oh, God.
And I just, so you just look at yourself like, you can imagine, can't you? You're half asleep. It was horrible. And like, it to the point of where I'd be led and you'd hear it, like it was a really old wardrobe. You just hear like a creak, it opened. Yeah. So again, that's probably leading. I was high school years, 13, 14 there. And then I worked. So my stepmom used to own a bar in Burnley. Really, really old bar. It was a show bar, sort of drag nights and everything like that. And I would just help filling the fridges, little Saturday job, Sunday morning job. And I was carrying a crate of beer back to the cellar. Now the cellar wasn't actually downstairs; it was on the same floor. But back to the cellar. As I walked past, there was a gentleman stood there, cap, just stood there, like a suit, like thing. What's it called?
Like a trench coat.
Waistcoat.
Oh, waistcoat.
And I just didn't acknowledge it. Just walk past. And it wasn't until I gone back and I said, "Is a customer here?" I was like, "Oh, we're close." I went, "There's someone down there." So she had a look. She went, "Jack, there's no one there." So it's a guy still with a cap on and a waistcoat. She's like, "There's no one there, Jack." And that pub is, so like, when they used to have lock-ins and what have you, I'm going to get my mum proper in trouble.
Is your mum, does she comment on TikTok Live?
Yeah, no. So if you see Wonky's mum is not my mum. She's just somebody who's kind of just taken me on. I guess a TikTok mum in a really weird way, but she's amazing. My mum's more on our face. She's called Kelly. You'll see her. And she was like, we have our pockets pulled and all sorts. Like, if you stood at the bar, you'll feel like, and nobody's around you, you'll feel your pocket being tugged and all sorts. And apparently there was a gentleman who is possibly the one I saw and a little child. They've had a toy car go right across the dance floor. And it's one of those where it's like, so the venue now it's been turned into like 3 different shops and it's gone, basically. It's such a shame because, again, that would have been a fantastic place. But you'd go upstairs to the living quarters and I wouldn't go upstairs on my own. It was horrible. But it was banging Burnley town centre. Burnley is an industrial town. Again, history. There's so many buildings to do with industrial, like revolution, cotton mills and all that down in. But it was just that was it for me. And I guess all these little things, which actually I'm talking about now, I didn't think much of them. Where now he sat there going, they are, weird things that we all want.
So do you think that aided your sort of interest, or didn't impact it at all? You mentioned that you watched Most Haunted with your mum.
Yeah, I've always been interested. I think actually, the more that I actually think about my last 31 years, but last 30 years, actually, I've probably done a lot of dabbling in paranormal investigation and not really. I mean, I went to Edgell University, and I was in the halls of residence there. The halls of residence there was the original halls of residence of the university. It used to be a hospital before the university were there. It's old. Like, we were doing like Ouija boards in the halls, and like I'd hear breathing at night, and it weren't me. Cups had fallen off the shelf. It was it is still an old building. So I guess even like that, I wouldn't even consider that as a paranormal, but I guess I've always had an interest in it.
Yeah. Okay. So just moving forward a bit, have you had any other say paranormal experiences? So we speak to a lot of people. They've had, say, we speak to them about UFO experience, and they come on and tell us all about their UFO experience, their UAP experience, whatever you want to call it nowadays.
Yeah.
But when we talk to them, a lot of people we've spoken to people who claim to have been abducted.
Yeah.
One guy, very weird story, but on a nightly basis, regardless of where he was staying, in his own house, other houses, taken.
Wow.
He had poltergeist experiences. Now, we speak to other people and UFO experiencers, whether they've seen them, close encounters, those kind of things. They've all had some kind of paranormal experience growing up.
Yeah.
Whether that makes them more susceptible to UFOs, don't know. But
yeah.
Have you had any other kind of weird phenomena happen to you? Have you seen a UFO? Anything weird, more weird than a guy with a
So it's really weird, Greg, because when we were talking, and we were talking to Ash about obviously how he got into it, I would say I've probably not opened my eyes to it at all, and I've probably not actually thought about paranormal actually being other than ghosts, spirits. And it's not like I've discounted it at all, and I think it's all unintentional. But actually, after the conversation we had, you sit back and you reflect and you go, well, I've always, like I said, my mum's always watched X-Files, so I've kind of always thought about it. But and funnily enough, my uncle is obsessed with UFOs. Like, he thinks he sees UFOs. Like, he lives in like the darkest part of Berlin. He's always stargazing, and I guess I've always been around it, but never really thought of it all being interconnected into one. So, as a short answer, no. But it's something that I do want to maybe think about more, and because there's stuff, like, I don't want to get lost in conversation with people, because people do, like like you've mentioned. I still want to have the thought of open-mindedness about it, because I tell everyone to be open-minded about spirits, about paranormal. Well, it needs to be open-minded about everything else surrounding it too.
Yeah, it's like, I think Ash was talking when we spoke on TikTok that when we do paranormal investigations, we're calling out and saying, is there anyone in the room with us? Is there anyone there? Can you hear? We've been out, and we do exactly the same thing, calling out to UFOs. And we went out with Danny Moss, and it's all on YouTube. Is one of his episodes of Paranormal Investigator. We filmed with him at Delamere, and we'd done a whole CE5 thing where we're calling out to to entities, whatever they might be. We had loads of weird shit happen. It's not even on the program, but loads of it happened. And it's mad because I used to be paranormal. That was my thing. Ash was UFO. And over the years now, we speak to so many people who have had a mixture of of experiences that it all seems to just blur now.
Yeah.
We spoke to a demonologist who claimed that demons and fallen angels are actually grey aliens. And he was quite open with the fact, he goes, yeah, I think that's what they are, because they're evil little shits.
Yeah.
They're there to scare people. And like I mentioned, people who have UFO experiences tend to have had some kind of paranormal experience growing up. Whether it's the house they grew up in, had weird things happening. So yeah, it's the basis of our talk at Parachat later in the year. Some poltergeists and UAP. So the fact that people have these multiple experiences, but don't link them. They go, well, actually, yeah, I did it growing up. I had these weird experiences. Never really thought about it till just now when we started talking on the episode. But then I used to be UFO. I used to be massively into it. I used to be into X-Files.
Yeah.
As did everybody my age, because I'm a bit older than you. I'm probably more than your mum's age than. Well, no, I probably will be. So I grew up I was born in the 70s, and so by the time the X-Files come out and Most Haunted, I was a full-grown adult at that point. And we didn't have all that kind of stuff with me growing up. I used to have to watch a program called Arthur C. Clarke's World of Strange Mysteries. Now that would shit the most kids up now. I'll tell you, that was fucking horrible, that program. It was like unfiltered, like, these people, these entities are going to jump out of the wardrobe and they're going to attack you type thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to have all these things attacking me, and I'd have blood on my hands. There was this little kid, I must have been about 8, just thinking, what the fuck? And I'm just scared to go to sleep. And whatnot. I think nowadays it's everywhere now. Paranormal's everywhere. So I think it's something I've been doing the investigations for years. I know Asha, so we get to a place and we don't really get scared anymore. Which is a shame, because I
was saying that the other day. Like, I'm probably really fun to be around, because I am scared. Like, generally I am, and I do shit myself up. But you do almost kind of warm to it. It's like the thought of being in a very old house this weekend, maybe 2 years ago, probably would. I'm like, oh, I'm really scared about that. Something could happen, or what, it's uncomfortable. But I think it's almost the excitement of being uncomfortable rather than being scared of being uncomfortable. And listen, if I'm in a room on my own, I will be absolutely shit myself. But I guess also, if you're on TikTok live and somebody's watching that's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah, people love it. People love it, and they love watching people getting scared. And I think we mentioned it on your live that TikTok's brilliant. So you can see instant feedback on how everything's going. So if we're somewhere and not much is happening, it's an opportunity at that point, and you go, well, people are not engaging, people can't see it, they're not really loving that content, because we become a content, we create a program for that person to watch. I look at the stats, and TikTok's amazing for giving you what viewer stats. So after you can go, well, you had X amount of viewers. Like the most successful live we ever had, we were at Delamere Forest. I think it was me and Sarah. So she was on the Twins account, I was on the podcast account. At one point, we had nearly 350 people watching the live, which was insane. I've never
really good.
The comments were fucking streaming through. I couldn't keep the comments. The amount of viewers on, and you could see it, and we were freaking out, me and Sarah. People were sending screenshots of weird faces they captured.
Yeah.
And it was all going bananas. But then we've been to other places and not much is happening, and you can see that the numbers fluctuate. Whereas on the podcast, for example, so this podcast will go out and it'll go out to about, say, 60 countries. We'll have thousands of people listen each week. Half streaming it, downloads or whatever. But we get hardly any feedback on it. I can only see.
Not live feedback, is it?
No live feedback. We put an episode out. We might record a couple of weeks in advance.
Yeah.
And what what that'll mean is we don't know it's hit well until potentially a month later. Once it's been out, you get proper stats. But TikTok's an instant hit as to whether or not content is something that people are engaging with.
Yeah,
is people like to watch people getting scared. They like to be, say, in cemeteries. They love all this weird stuff that they're not brave enough to do themselves. They like watching it on TV. They love Most Haunted. They love Experts. They love all that kind of stuff. But this is like a window. We find
people
shape, and people can shape what goes on, because they go, "Oh, what was that?" And then you can go, "What do you mean? What was that?" And it becomes almost like they're on the investigation with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. When we first started Paranormal Inc., I remember putting the group chat together, and actually, on the 1st of August, it is our 12-month anniversary, so our first year, which is amazing.
Friday, is that Friday?
Yeah. I can't believe that it's actually been 12 months. But anyway, I remember like putting in the group chat of like, this is the vision that I've got. What do you guys think? Because it's not just me. There's Jasmine, there's Paul, and there's Lee too. And the guys have all got different experiences, different thoughts behind paranormal, and like we probably could have another 4 hours conversation if the rest of the guys were on here, because they would talk about their own experiences as well. But from my point of view, it was, I want to be able to offer something in the Northwest. The guys' feedback were that they wanted to do filming, wants to do YouTube. I was like, listen, at this moment in time, we can't do that. We can't. A, we don't have a platform to do it, and B, how we're going to fund it. Because you need to buy cameras. And cameras aren't £10 off Temu, are they? They're expensive. You need to make sure that you've got proper kit. And I remember going through all the websites set up, and we got the schedule sorted, and the guys were loving it. The guys still love it. They're amazing, amazing people. And I remember, I think it was after Bolton, and I spoke to the twins, and the twins were like, "Are you going live tonight?" I was like, "Well, I'll do a walk around on Facebook." "Why are you doing it on Facebook?" "Because that's what I've done before, and we've got 500 followers on Facebook." She's like, "Yeah, but what about all the other followers that don't get you?" I was like, "Why would anybody watch me walk around a jail in Bolton?" And they were like, no, listen, like, you need to do this. And it was Matt, Ian, and the twins that went, "Do it, you'll be surprised." And I think we first did a walk around at Carlisle, and then we did the chat the week after, like, did a review of it. And I couldn't believe that. I think we had 30 people on. It's not a lot, but these are random people watching us talk about it. I can't believe it. And now we get to the point of where, we mentioned Wonky's mum. I don't even know what she looks like. Generally don't know what she looks like. I don't know her first name. Don't know who she is as a person. And it does worry my mum, but don't know her as a person. But I can tell you, every single time we go live, she's on. She's telling people to comment. She's telling people to give us love. She's telling people to share away, speakers, whatever. And I'm going, that's amazing. That is somebody who's completely and utterly invested in our paranormal investigation that we're doing. I'm like, and I don't deserve it. I've done nothing to deserve that. But you're right, the community feel, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here. When I first started doing this, I got told, "You will find out who the good people are." I was like, I will keep ourselves to ourselves. It is what it is. And immediately you get the vibe of who are good and who are the people to stay away from. And like I said, we're a year in, and I think we've got some amazing people around us. Amazing. And I say this all the time. We wouldn't be where we were now if it weren't for the twins, and even Eddie and Tony as well. And also Matt and Ian. We wouldn't be who we are if it weren't for them guys spending time with us, talking to us, promoting our event for us and stuff like that. And I told the guys the other night, can't thank them enough. Can't thank them enough, because they've been fantastic for us. And you tonight giving us a platform to talk. Let's be honest, we're talking rubbish for an hour and a half, an hour, however long it's going to go. But it's giving us a platform, and that's kind of the same that I want to do for our customers. I want to give our customers a platform to be able to attend our events and go, they are just real people wanting to find something which they haven't found yet, or experience something which they haven't experienced. And the great thing about having customers there is you've got 10, 15, 20 other people experience it with you, which is great. It's fantastic.
And that's something mirrors our sort of like social media sort of journey, that we were all about Facebook and not about TikTok till this year. And then I was off having my hip operations, so I was up with Sarah for a few months up north, and we started going out and doing TikTok lives a bit more. We dabbled in it ages ago, but I was like to Ash, this is it. We don't. So with the podcast now, we're nearly in 4 months' time. On December the 2nd, we're 5 years, which I can't believe either. Yeah. That the episodes we used to put out, we used to edit them to within an inch of their lives. Now this episode will literally go out. I'll clip probably the start, I'll clip the end, and that'll be it. It's good to have like a raw conversation. Obviously, if something goes wrong, we edit stuff out, but again, but TikTok's very much like that. With TikTok, people can just see you. You can build up this community. We've got a handful of. It's more than a handful, but we got like a handful of these core people that when the live comes on, we get somebody called June come on, Sylvia comes on, Emma comes on, a guy called Nathan, Finesse Plastering.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to keep calling you Finesse Plastering. What's your name? So he comes on, it's like, all right, Nathan. And then we get Nick, who's been listening to our podcast from day one. He spent his 50th birthday on Friday watching our live.
Wow. It's amazing.
So we got these people, and then, like you said, they just sort of appear. You don't know. I don't know what half of these people are like. Like, I get Sarah come on, I might get Emma come on, I get you guys pop on, get all these different accounts that we recognise, and people. And like you say, you get a sense of who the good people are. And there are a lot of fucking assholes in the paranormal. I'm not going to lie, there's some knobheads. I could name them, and I would probably spend an hour naming them. Over the years, me and Ash have touched base with a lot of these dickheads. But one thing is you do get to find out who the good people are. You get to see the people who are interested in watching you progress, pushing your live out, telling people to share, repost, and trying to find that magical key to the algorithm so that you get pushed even more. And right, we need to do this because we need to get a flare, or we need to, and like people who don't create content don't necessarily understand how, not difficult, because it's fairly straightforward, but it's quite difficult to get around the best way of doing it. So we, with the podcast, we just do our thing, we put it out there, people listen to it. We don't get a lot of feedback, like I said. We get guests coming and approaching us saying, I want to talk, or we'll contact people and say, can you come and have a chat to us? But generally it just meanders along, and we do our thing and we put it out.
It's giving yourself a platform though, and I think, again, podcasting and TikToking and all that, you are right, it does all lean into one, but I think you have got to find your identity. And I think obviously your identity is the podcast, and everything else around it is the additional thing which leans into you guys being able to put this podcast out and talk about different things. And without you doing the lives, without you doing the events on yourself, actually, it's probably going to get to a point where the conversations are probably a little bit dry until you get guests coming in. But doing all these little stuff, it's great. It gives you content to speak about.
So where do you guys see yourself in the next few years? Like we started off, me and Ash started off with this very brief idea of we'll do this episode, then we'll do this one next, and here we are however many episodes on. But we've got like a website with merch on it. People, I can't believe people are even buying our t-shirts. People buy hoodies. We put a book out. People are buying our book. People can
amazing,
listen to it on like Kindle. They can download it on Kindle. I'm like, what the fuck? People buying it from America and getting it delivered. I'm like, so.
Cool,
and then we've gone to TikTok and we do the stuff with the girls, obviously me and Sarah, and there's this whole sort of like Marvel cinematic universe of people that we touch base with and our little network of people. So where did you guys see it? We have no vision.
I think it's really difficult because I think if you would have asked me, I'm not going to say 12 months ago because I was just building the vision 12 months ago. We were just getting together. Maybe if you asked me 4 or 5 months ago, my vision to what I see it now is completely different.
Yeah.
We, as an event company, I want to find venues that aren't done a lot in the Northwest. That's the idea behind it. But along with that, I wanted to be able to present this back in a live format to people to watch.
Yeah.
So taking on board the feedback that we've had from TikTok Live. TikTok Live's great, but the problem is that you've got one camera and one video. If we can somehow do something where we can either TikTok Live or live feed it or what have you, it's basically you can bring people in to experience what they're experiencing now. And you're going to get people commenting almost like a little bit of a Big Brother kind of thing. That's the idea. Whether that can happen, because it's going to cost a lot of money to do.
It doesn't. So just to jump in, you can do all of that if you've got a laptop, not a Mac, because TikTok don't like that. And you use OBS or some kind of software like that. I don't know if you've ever used OBS.
No.
So OBS is it's like a broadcasting software. It's free. It's open. I think it's like open source broadcasting software. OBS. Okay. It's a bit of a tricky initial learn, but what you can do. Me and Ash have done it. So I've actually joined Ash's live stream as through Zoom. I think we've done it through Zoom.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We've done it on here, something like that. And he actually just screen grabbed sections, like on Zoom. We just appeared. So me and Ash were on there. He could show videos. He could do all sorts of stuff, and we actually had like a broadcast. So you could technically have multiple camera feeds going on there. You could cycle camera feeds. I'll speak to you more about it afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think
it's a hassle, and when you're out on an investigation and location, it takes a bit of planning, which is why TikTok's great because you just go.
You just aren't you? But all I can think about is you're going like, we're all about experience and giving the customers the best experience possible. Now, there's a lot of events companies out there, and listen, like we went and researched a lot of events companies. So that's one of the things which I said to the guys were, whilst we're still trying to build a portfolio of venues to go to, let's go to different venues and different events and see how it's done. And we've had some bad experiences, bad, to the point of where you like. I just remember walking out of the venue. I was that pissed off that I'd spent £45 on a venue that I weren't able to go and explore myself. And I'm going like, how can you call it paranormal investigation, ghost hunting, when what you're doing is a ghost walk?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just mind-boggling that you charge that much. Like generally, people charge a lot of money because the venues cost a lot. Like I get it.
Yeah,
we do that. I get it. But when you're actually describing it as a paranormal investigation, there's no investigation about that at all.
Yeah.
There's not. And it really, really annoyed me. And that's what made me go, we need to make sure. So like I said earlier on when we were talking, tell customers to go look around themselves. If you want to go look around, if you walk into a room and you go, I want some time in there, we will make sure you get time in there because you've suggested that yourself. If you want to be put in there on your own and you want a Ouija board, crack on. That's if you're gonna pay, you've paid your order of money and you want to do that, that's your choice. You do that. Brilliant. And I think from my point of view, I want to be different. I want to be different to other companies out there, and I want to be able to give both sides of the investigation. A, you can go in and you can go and do the investigation and make it your own and do whatever you want. But B, actually, I think it'd be really, really cool to have people be able to watch you do that. I think that's really, really cool. And I don't think, I mean, you might correct me, but I don't think there's a lot of companies that do that. And I actually don't think there's any companies that do that.
No, there isn't. There isn't. No, it's cool.
But listen, it might take a few years to get to that point. So within these next 3-4 years, it is absolutely hard work from us all, building up a portfolio, building up a customer base, building up a following, and making people realise that actually, if they want to go and have a good time, not a good experience, good time, we are the people to go with.
And I think that's key. People need to be able to have a good time. You don't want to go there and feel that you're under pressure to have a good time because they're going, well, this is where all the activity happened. People have experienced all this kind of stuff, and you've got people. I've been the same when I walk around Ulster Prison, and you go, should I be feeling something now then?
Yeah.
Whereas if you can relax people and they just do their own, do their own thing, but if they can lead part of it themselves and go, actually, I do want to stay here for a bit because it's a bit freaky.
Yeah.
Cool. So where can people find you, Jack? Where?
Yeah. I've just looked at the time. I cannot believe we've been talking for an hour. That's crazy.
Yeah. We will have to have part 2, definitely. And we'll get the others on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, part 3 and part 4, definitely. Yeah. Where people can find us. So we're online. So our website is parainc.co.uk. Facebook, Paranormal Inc. And TikTok, Paranormal Inc. as well. We are, I'd say, I do a lot of posts on both. I try and keep active on both. Listen, if people want to come in and have a chat with us, Messenger's open. All the staff are on the Messenger. They will have a chat with you. If you've got anything interesting to talk about and you want to bring it to us, they will have a chat with you. We're on TikTok live at least once a week, whether that's in an investigation or whether that's like in this format where we're having a conversation. Pop in and have a chat. That like you did with Ash. Every 2 weeks on a Thursday, we just want to have conversations with people and get to know people. So if there are people that do want to come on and have a chat with us as well, let us know and we can arrange it. And if you are looking for events and you want to give us a try, obviously just check our website out, but give us a message as well. And if you want to know which is a good place to go for this kind of investigation or this, we'll let you know.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jack. It's been a pleasure again. We've spoken several times now. Then it's always a fascinating conversation. And we met at Chirk Mill. We didn't even cover off Chirk Mill, so we'll have to chat about that next time. So thank you very much, and we will sort out another conversation.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks, Greg.
No worries. Thank you.